Hey everyone, it's Frankie-Lou. I'm coming to you today from my driveway at the Grow Together homestead, where I am prepping up even more jugs to put out for sowing seeds. I guess we could still call this winter sowing, but it actually feels a little bit more like spring sowing to me because we are into May here. Now, May here in southern Alberta is still very, very irregular. We're still going to have some freezing temperatures at night on a few nights, but I am getting nice temperatures during the day. And I am still about 4 to 5 weeks out from planting stuff in the garden. So while it might seem like late to be doing some of this, I'm actually really busy. I'm getting lots of stuff out right now because I've got to get things going that are a little more tender and don't like the frost as much. And I like the winter sowing method because even though I am a believer in tough love when it comes to this, and I do tend to leave things completely alone, if I did get a little nervous, I find that because these jugs, both the milk jugs and the water cooler jugs and all the various things, are quite portable. So it's easy to move things around or cover things if I felt like I really needed to do that. So what sort of stuff am I planting right now? Because I'm not really dealing with the stuff that needs cold stratification anymore. I'd probably still plant some of that stuff, but I've already planted plenty of it. So what I'm doing now is I'm focusing more on some of my really tender stuff. I'm going to be putting some marigolds into these. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of different more tender flowers. It's a little windy here today. So yes, it is May and it is spring, but we still do have some cold weather. I can show you exactly what I'm working on right now. And that, I like to call these my Pollinator Pods. I didn't show this in an earlier video, so I show this today. This is what I use on these. I stole this from Angus. It's from his wood burning kit, and it's the hot knife tool, the attachment, and boy, oh boy, it works great for these. What are in these Pollinator Pods? Well, the reason I call them that is because these are all plants that are really great support for both my native pollinators and the honeybees that I have here on the farm. Well, these are all plants that would be great to start planting right now if you are wanting to take advantage of the winter sowing method, and it's spring, but this gives them a head start. And another great thing about these things is here in southern Alberta, we notoriously have horrible hail, okay, for the first sometimes up until the end of July. And my thought is with these is I'm going to leave the plants in here until they're basically popping out of the top. And that's not only going to provide, this is a great germination chamber, but it's going to protect them from this crazy wind, okay, because as you can see, we do have crazy wind here. And also from the hail, all right, because this is a nice hard top, and I'm not going to have to run around like a crazy person at the beginning of this growing season trying to protect my plants from hail damage. These will do a great job of that, okay? And so will milk jugs. But I like these because there's room for a little bit more growth, and I can leave these in place. So what are the plants that I'm putting in here? Well, it's a really lovely combo. I've done it lots of times before. In fact, there's whole other videos about planting for pollinators, but this particular combo is a variety of sunflower. I'm using a taller variety, and honestly not that tall for a sunflower. It's called Ring of Fire, and it's about 4 to 5 feet. And I'm also using in some of them a shorter variety, which is Music Box, which is only 2 feet. So I can decide where I want to put tall ones and shorter ones. Scarlet Runners, which are a type of pole bean, and they're beautiful and they have lovely red flowers. So I'm putting a couple of those, and those will climb up. Once I do open these, I'll put some trellises in, and they can climb up. And then nasturtium. They have a nice spicy flower, a nice spicy leaf, and even their seeds can be used to make sort of a poor man's caper. And I do that a lot. This is one of my favorite preserves that I do every year. You can imagine the color combinations with the yellow and the orange sunflowers, okay, because the sunflowers do have orange in them. The red orangey flowers from the Scarlet Runners, and the red orangey flowers from the nasturtium. So it's going to be a very, very colorful combination. It's going to have multiple levels, which is great for the pollinators. They can hit at different levels, and we can eat everything in there too. So this is a win-win-win, and I'm making tons of these and I'm putting them everywhere, okay? Cut this up. So yeah, now is a great time. I know a lot of people think that it's too late to winter sow, but it really isn't. now is a really great time. And I'll finish cutting this up. All right, so I finished cutting that up. All right, I'm gonna fill it up with some dirt. You know the drill. I wanna make sure that the soil is super moist because I'm not gonna be watering this anytime soon. This is a good time for me to bring up about watering. I get asked this a lot. With the warm weather that's arriving, if you do have jugs that are out there right now, it's a good idea to do a periodic check every few days and see if your jugs need watering. Don't rely on whether or not you see condensation on the bottle or whether or not the soil is not dark. You really have to lift that up, okay? You want to make sure that it feels light. If it's still heavy, you can have it be light on the soil, can be light colored on top, but there's still plenty of moisture in that jug. It can look like it's moist, but maybe it's dry. You really do need to lift each of those jugs up individually. And it is shocking to me how often I'll find a dry jug right next to a sopping wet jug. So you do have to individually pick them all up, okay? That's a really important thing to be maintaining right now with the warmer temperatures that are coming, because you don't want to fry and dry out your seedlings. So yeah, that's one of the important things to be doing right now during this time, is maintaining your jugs, making sure. And also, if you do get a really stinking hot day, it's also might be a good idea to be moving some of those seedlings into an area where they just get morning sun, okay? I find that sometimes that's helpful as well. I know a lot of people want to open their jugs right now. One of the whole purposes of this whole method is to take advantage of the extra heat and the extra humidity. So might as well make use of it, especially since we do have cold and windy conditions during the day here. It's a good idea just to leave them be for now, okay? Unless you live somewhere like in zone 6 or zone 7 and it's almost time to put your stuff in the ground. I'm 4 weeks out, so I'm not going to be opening my jugs anytime soon unless stuff is starting to pop up way too high in it. Okay, I'm going to label these up. Also going to put a label on here and the date on the back. This is when I would be trying to get some of those flowers and more tender veggies out right now. I'm also going to be starting up another batch of carrots and beets because mine are coming along nicely and I want to have some staggering of the crops. I'll be planting lettuce in milk jugs into June because I'll be wanting to stagger my crops, okay? So yes, it's not taking advantage of any cold stratification at that point, but it's still taking advantage of all of the humidity trap that you get inside of these milk jugs and water cooler bottles and all these other containers that help your seeds come along a little bit faster and have a higher germination rate. Okay, so there's another pollinator pod. I'm going to do a few more of these today. Please do send questions. I love to hear from you because it helps me create content that's helpful for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do. We got a really fun project going on right now where I've challenged myself to create a chicken coop entirely out of salvage hardware and wood. So that's been fun, and I'll be giving some updates on that real soon. And as always, I hope you'll take this chance to grow together today. Have a good one.